सुप्रभातम सुस्वागतम। Kama to prema, prema to bhakti, bhakti to sagala sakshatkara. These are the phases of growth in bhakti yoga. Kama is the gross carnal desire. Kama is the simple, normal friendship. Kama brings love between two persons. And at this level, always there is an expectation of a return. I love you, therefore I will give you a party. I expect that you also should love me, you also should give me a party. If I give you a party and if you don't give me the party, I will wait, okay, some more time. Still if I don't get a return party, then our friendship goes away. That is the normal friendship, normal level of love. It's called kama. But what is real friendship? As the proverb goes, a friend in need is a friend indeed. So without expecting anything in return, you go on giving and giving and giving. Whether your friends returns your party or not, you continue to give. What features this real friendship is one of giving, tyaga. And that is called prema. We have moved from simple love to the divine love. To the church. Similarly in Islam, you have to give 20% to the development of the community. In Hinduism, every festival you have to give and give and give. In Sikhism, the Gurudwara, you have the langar. Not only you give, you have to give your time, samvedana also. So all religions preach this giving to promote prema bhava in us. Then comes to the next step, in which you raise from the good love, the real friendship towards becoming a devotee, devotion, bhakti. Characteristic of devotion is prapatti bhava, sharanagati bhava, surrender. Surrender is featured by expansion. The ego has to be given up. Once you understand that surrender is a process of expansion, it becomes easy to give up our ego, to give up our arrogance. If you don't understand the secret which Swami Vivekananda has given, that surrender is a process of expansion, then you cannot give up ego. You think that by giving up my ego, my personality will go away, all my characters and special features and qualities will all go away. Why should I surrender to someone else? No, I can't. But once you understand that surrender is a process of expansion, then you raise to become a devotee, the bhakta. And it's a process in which you tune your mind, your emotions to a role model of a person or a Ishta Devata. Ishta Devata can vary from person to person. You may have Rama, Krishna, Hanuman, Lakshmi, Saraswati, anybody you can have. A scientist may have a role model of a scientist, a Nobel laureate of the highest esteem, can be his role model, can be his Ishta Devata. In different religions, persons can have Christ or Muhammad or any of their great masters or lords for the object of their worship. Whatever may be the thing, you have to tune yourselves to that wonderful role models that we have. What happens? All those divine virtues, all those great qualities, all those wonderful ideals will start entering into you. So that is what is going to happen in the process of surrender, in the process of devotion, in the process of what we call bhakti. Then when you go on staying in that state of bhakti for longer and longer duration, then you get the sakshatkara of your Ishta Devata. And Arjuna had come to that space in which he wanted to see Lord Krishna in his divine manifestation. Particularly to know what Krishna has said. Don't worry, you are going to win. Dharmo rakshati rakshitaha. That he wanted to see. Therefore, Krishna shows that wonderful divine form. That is the Vishwarupa Darshana he gives. And that Vishwarupa Darshana is something very special. That in this Vishwarupa Darshana, he shows that it is manifest in all different forms. And you can see the divine manifestation in a child, see the divine manifestation as a youth, as a grown-up elder, and in everybody you can see the divine form, divine manifestation. And that is the implication of that Vishwarupa. And that Vishwarupa, when Arjuna sees, he is filled with joy, filled with thrill, filled with excitement, filled with surprise, filled with that blissful experience, unparalleled. So Arjuna says, I am very, very happy. Prasannosmi. Prishva says. And then he sees the second phase. The second phase, how all the Kuruviras, all the opposite winged warriors are getting consumed with the fire of Dharma, in the fire of Lord Krishna, giving a clear message, Arjuna, don't worry, there may be invincible warriors on the other side. There may be Dronacharya, who cannot be won over. And there may be a Karna with the Vajra Kavacha, Karna Kundala, and nobody can kill him. Similarly, there may be Bhishma on their side. The Bhishma is a Ichhavanatma. Nobody can kill him. He has to die by his own will. All these people may be there on the other side, but don't worry, because they are on the side of the Adharma. And it is the Dharma that ultimately is going to win. Therefore, giving that assurance has to be demonstrated. And Krishna shows the divine Vishwarupa Darshana, in which all these people are consumed in the fire of Dharma. One by one, all the Kuru brothers are getting consumed, and the Karna, the Drona, and even the Bhishma. Then what is the result? The result is, Arjuna is assured, you are going to win. You are on the side of Dharma. You are an embodiment of Dharma, therefore you are going to win. Don't worry. First assurance. But then he gets frightened. Why? That wonderful form of Rudra Bhayankara Rupa, that Ugra Rupa, when he sees that, he cannot take that. His whole system is getting shattered. Why? He has always paddled with Krishna, and he has prayed with Krishna. He has made very critical comments about Krishna, and when he is the charioteer, he is kicking with his feet, go this way, go this way, go this way. All those comes into his mind, and he says, what I am doing, what I am doing, what I have done, all these things. Now I have seen your magnificent form, your Bhayanaka Rupa, your Ugra Rupa I have seen. Therefore, he says, I can no more bear this. Please, please come back and show me your Saumya Rupa with the 4 hands and other things which always I enjoy. He says. Then, what does Krishna say? Yesterday we saw. Sudurdarshamidam rupam drishtamanasya mama. Devapyasya rupasya nityam darshanakankshinaha. The rupa that you have seen, the bewildering form of Vishwarupa you have seen, even the gods and goddesses have not seen so far. You are the first person to whom I have shown this form. And why do even gods and goddesses aspire to see this vision? Because to understand that they are one small part of this divine manifestation of the ultimate reality. But Krishna had not shown, to Arjuna he is showing. And what is its special feature? Nantosti mama divyanam vibhutinam parantapa eshatudeshata proktaha vibhuter vistaro maya. So he says, I have shown you to bring you that knowledge that the divine manifests in every being, every non-being, sentient and insentient, the manifest and unmanifest. In all physical objects, also there is the divine manifestation. In all the plants, there is the divine manifestation. In all the animal kingdom, there is the divine manifestation. In all the human beings there are. And he describes in great detail in the Vibhuti Yoga. Who are those wonderful people who are divine manifestation? What are those animals which are having the divine manifestation? Everything he describes in detail. And there is the divine manifestation, the Yakshas, Kinnaras are all in the Pranamaya Kosha. There is the divine manifestation, all Devatas and Rakshasas in the Manomaya Kosha. And the divine manifestation in the Trimurtis, Vijnanamaya Kosha. Everything he describes. So he says, that is the purpose. Yeshato uddeshata proktaha. With this objective, with this aim to educate you, that the reality manifests everywhere. And therefore you have to see divinity in everybody. In every plant you must see the divinity. Every animal you must see the divinity. Every human being you must see the divinity. That is the dimension that is the purpose it says. Yad yad vibhuti mat sattvam Srimadurjitameva Tattadeva vagachatvam Mama tejonsha sambhavam. When you see the goodness in different people, understand the divine is manifesting more in such people. And that is what we have to understand. That's what Krishna is telling Arjuna. That's what you have to understand, he says. And I have been quoting the experience of Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, how he realized the truth that God exists. It is possible to see God in flesh and blood. All different paths of bhakti are true. Whoever worships whatever God, they will get the realization of that God. And he practiced the different practices of Dasya Bhava, Madhura Bhava, Bhakti Bhava, everything one by one. And then when he was doing all these things, then people started looking at him as a lunatic. What is happening to Gadadhara? He is sitting and doing penance in the trees, acting like a monkey. Then he comes, and that's the worst thing that is happening. Characterless fellow. He is mixing with the women folk, and then doing all nonsense, And people started putting him into the framework of a lunatic, a schizophrenic, and so on. Then it has to be reversed. Then comes the divine help. A great tantric master, Bhairavi Brahmani, comes into the life of Sri Ramakrishna, and she had been hearing the great exploits and achievements of Sri Ramakrishna, and Tantra, Shastra. She was a master. She was the best of the tantric worshippers, great tantric master during those times. Everybody revered her as the topmost in the tantric field. In Tantra Shastra there are two aspects. One is the yantras and another is the mantras. Yantras refer to the shape. Different types of yantras are there. The mantras are different dimensions of sound, different mantras. There are sound patterns. And there are 64 types of Tantra sadhana. So when Bhairavi Brahmani comes there, she appreciates Sri Ramakrishna and says, what I have found in you is something very wonderful. It is something unique. Therefore, I am going to systematically teach you all the different dimensions of the 64 sadhana margas of the Tantra Shastra. And she teaches one by one. And it is amazing to see how Sri Ramakrishna mastered all these things in just days together. Every day it was a new experience. Every day he is learning a new education, which normally Bhairavi knew that people took years together to get the sakshatkara of different things. To get mastery in one vidya, people would take years. But here is a man, he is just absorbing, like a sponge absorbing the water. And that's the greatness of Gadadhara at that time. When he mastered all these things in a short duration, he understood the whole dimension of the Bhakti Yoga. In Bhakti Yoga, there is the various bhavas, the tamasic bhava, the rajasic bhava, and the sattvic bhava. The different people worship different Ishtadevatas differently. The tamasic people worship the things, Ishtadevatas, with the Pushu bhava, that is featured by violence and sacrifice. In Rajas, there is the Veera bhava. There, alcohols and drugs, sex and speeds are all used. And in the Sattvic worship, there is the Divya bhava, in which there is the finer emotions that are developed. Panchamahabhavas are invoked. All these things come under the broad heading of Tantra Shastra in the Bhakti cult. We have Dasya bhava, Vatsalya bhava, then we have the Madhura bhava, Sakya bhava, and Shanta bhava. The 5 Mahabhavas, which are practiced in the Tantra Shastra and the Bhakti cult. There is the Sattvic worship. What is that? The bhavas, we have got the Dasya bhava, in which the bhava that a servant offers to the master, like the Hanuman. Hanuman practiced Dasya bhava. He was the Dasa of Sri Rama. That is the Dasya bhava. Then we have the Vatsalya bhava. It can be the bhava of the mother to the child or child to the mother. For example, Yashoda worshipped Krishna as the embodiment of the Lord. The child was her Ishtadevata, was her object of worship. Whereas Ramakrishna, he used the Vatsalya bhava. He was a child and he was worshipped Mother Kali. Kali is the mother. Both these things come under the Vatsalya bhava. Then we have the Sakya bhava, in which the feeling of 2 great friends, Krishna and Sudama, we have an example. The Madhura bhava, in which you invoke the bhava of the spouse, the husband and wife relation, the sexual relations. spouse to spouse, we have the Meera Bhava, Radha, Krishna Bhava, examples of that. Then we have the Shanta Bhava, in which all the time your mind will be kept in that peace. That is the great Bhava that Yudhishthira had for Lord Krishna. Ram Krishna masters all these Pancha Bhavas. Not only the Sattvic Bhavas, but even the Rajasic and Tamasic also Bhairavi Brahmani teaches. And Ram Krishna becomes the topmost in the Bhakti cult, and therefore Bhairavi Brahmani calls a big conference in which she explains to the people that look here, he is a great person who has excelled in all these several practices of the Tantra Shastra, and therefore I declare that he is the master today in the field of Bhakti. So all the negativities about Gadadhara is vanquished by this proclamation, by this evidence, by the Bhairavi Brahmani. Because Bhairavi Brahmani was regarded the topmost authority in the field of Tantra Shastra, and she, endorsing the achievements of Sri Ramakrishna, was accepted by the whole conference of the delegates, and that's how Ramakrishna is raised to the level of a great master in the field of Bhakti. And that is the great achievement Sri Ramakrishna did. We'll move further tomorrow. Sit tight with the eyes closed. Relax all parts of the body. When we do the 5 acts of good service through Dana, Daya and Dhamma, can we see divinity in everybody? Can we see the divine manifestations in every human being? Can we see the divine manifestation in every plant? Can we see the divine manifestation in every animal that we see around? And can we offer, share, give in that sense of Bhakti Bhava? When we give, we are giving it to the Lord. We are giving it to the manifestation of that ultimate reality. We are giving it to our Ishta Devata, to our role model. With that feeling of surrender, we should give. Yome bhaktya prayachati. One who gives with that heart, gives with a divine surrender, with a devotion, will purify. It will purify our heart, purify our emotions, and take us to the greater and greater heights, reaching us towards the moksha through the Saguna Sakshatkara and then the Nirguna Sakshatkara. That is the real pilgrimage. Therefore, giving should become a part of our life. Giving, without expecting anything in return.